Good morning, first graders. Today we are on page 261 of your student journal, and we are starting something a little bit new. So we've been talking about shapes, and our shapes have been flat shapes. Today we are going to start to talk about three-dimensional shapes. So solid figures, we call them. Our objective today says, today I will compose a cube and rectangular prism by combining two or more different shapes using a net. Okay, so there's a lot of words in that objective. I'm going to underline a few. A cube, a rectangular prism, and a net. And let's talk about what those words mean. Those are really important words. So our first word we see is a cube. It says it's a box-shaped solid object made up of 6 square faces. So what you see is it's a solid shape, which means it's three-dimensional, and it's made up of 6 square faces. So if we look at these are called the faces, the sides, but they're called faces. There's 6 of them, and they're all squares. So every single side is the same. So I'm going to actually kind of show you one. So here is one because they show it made, and then this is what we call our net. A net is when it's been unfolded. So look at my net for a cube, and before I fold it, I want you to notice a few things. Notice that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like squares there, and those are going to become my faces when I fold it to get up. So what this is a cube that's been unfolded, but I can refold it and I can build a solid figure or a three-dimensional figure with this net. Okay, so when I fold it, look what happens if I start folding it together, and I'm actually going to tape it so you can see this. So I can tape some of the sides together. Actually, they're faces together. I can tape some of them together, and we can start to see what we're going to be building here. Okay, so those 6 squares, when I fold them together, when I fold the net together, it now has become a cube. So a cube is a three-dimensional shape with all squares. So it's like a dice, if you've ever rolled a dice, that's what it looks like. So the way that I know when I looked at this that this one was going to become a cube is because all of the faces were squares and would turn into this three-dimensional object. Okay, the other one that we're going to look at today is called a rectangular prism. Okay, a rectangular prism says it's a solid object made up of 6 rectangular faces. So notice here it still has 6 faces, but they're rectangular. Some of them might look like squares, but one of the biggest things about rectangular prisms is that the faces are not all the same. So look at their net. Notice how they're different sizes. Okay, so because they're different sizes, when you actually make this net, it's not going to turn into like something like a dice. It's going to look more like a box. And rectangular prisms can look very different. There's different shapes that can be made one, but here's my rectangular prism. So notice it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rectangles. And when I put this together, those are going to become my 6 faces. So if I fold this up, watch what's going to happen. I can tape it. We have that. So a net is a three-dimensional shape, or three-dimensional solid shape that has been unfolded. And I'm going to fold it back up to make the actual solid figure. Okay, I'm almost there. Let's tape my sides. One last one, and now we have a rectangular prism. Okay, so this is called a rectangular prism. Okay, so notice we have it made, and then we also have the net. And then the net just tells you it's a pattern that you can fold to make a solid figure. And you saw me fold my nets and make solid figures out of them. Okay, so what are we going to be doing today? Okay, well, our first thing just kind of shows us we really need to understand the difference between, we need to be able to understand the difference between when it's going to be a cube and when it's going to be a rectangular prism. That is our big goal today, is to understand when it's a cube and when it's going to be a rectangular prism. Okay, so here I'm just going to say this is a cube, and why? Why is that a cube? Boys and girls, that one's a cube because it has all squares. And why is this a rectangular prism? Because it has 6 rectangle faces. But they're not squares, they're rectangles. So that's the big goal, that we understand that for today, is that we're going to just understand the difference between those. Okay, so today, boys and girls, you don't have any work you need to try on your own. You were just kind of learning about the shapes today. And tomorrow we're going to learn about some new shapes. Have a great day.